Hello, welcome to this presentation on the Sandvik mining strategy. I had some time on my hands during the summer vacation, so I decided to look at the Sandvik mining area business and then some observations here. So the objective of this presentation is to look at the use of VBE models for strategy for the Sandvik mining area, how it is going to be used or how it would be useful in the Sandvik mining area, and to demonstrate the work done in other areas for strategic direction of a company. And I've included other areas which are not really connected with the mining industry. It's connected with the telecom sector, the manufacturing sector, the insurance sector, and so on. But it's to demonstrate how VBE models have been used there for strategy. Now, before I get into this, I just want to have a word on VBE models. So VBE models are value models, business models, and ecosystems. And I have some in-depth videos about them on my consulting website. Now, how we use VBE model is we understand the industry and all its competitors' moves and all the external factors which are going to affect the industry. Based on that, and also we identify the paradigm shifts which could change the dynamics for the industry. So based on these two inputs, we try to identify unique areas which would set the strategy apart from a normal technology focused strategy. So let's go through the thought process behind the VB strategy and where it has been used previously. So if you look at Apple, it innovated the phone value model, while the incumbents like Nokia, Motorola, Samsung, Sony Ericsson, they focused on technology, while Apple focused on the value and the ecosystem. How could it change it? And technology lever is generally used by all because it's the easiest lever to use. You just need to look at technology and say, well, this is going to transform, AI is going to transform. But a much deeper understanding needs to be made as to how is the value model, business model, and ecosystem going to sustain itself. And a much more rigorous thought process has to go in there. And it has been used also by Tesla when planning its play in the automobile market. And they just didn't focus on the automobile, but they focused on the whole ecosystem. Where should be the charging stations? How should we plan it? Should we give it free? And so on. So it's a much deeper thought process when you go with the VB strategy. Now, where to innovate on value creation is the first question we need to look at. Then building the business models and ecosystems to support this value creation, and whether it would give a distinctive advantages to the company against its competitors. Then taking the team insights on value. So this is very important because there's a lot of information and knowledge already available with team members who have been in the industry for a long time, and taking external insights. So basically taking input from other industry, how it has been handled in other industries into this mining ecosystem. Now, if you look at this mining industry players or equipment players, you have Komatsu, Caterpillar, Sandvik, Metso, and so on. And this I have taken from all the annual reports of all companies. So if you look at the annual reports, if you look at all the videos they have, you find there's a focus of all these companies on certain areas. And let's look at them one by one. First is the safety area. So you have equipment safety, personal safety, mine safety, and so on. Then you have the efficiency of the mining business. So the first is the operations efficiency. And here you have the information flow and process value. So you have all these control centers which are there, which actually optimize your drilling process, how to drill the most efficient way. And then you have this automation, digitalization, telematics, fleet management, proximity detection, IoT, all these focused on operations efficiency. Then you have the equipment efficiency. And here again, you have value of the equipment. So all these areas, preventive maintenance, used parts, machine retrofits, and so on. Now, another is the environmental impact, and it is more of a environmental image part. And you have all this circular economy, green operations, battery systems, decarbonization, and all these going on. And then you have the energy sourcing for environmental impact. And this is the area which not many of the players talk about. So let's go into detail as to how should we look at the whole play. So what I did was I went through all the annual reports, all the videos of all these largest competitors of Sandvik and what they do. And also Sandvik has brought these two companies. And then all the details here, plus the videos and plus any equipment innovations and so on. And then I mapped in this area the Sandvik mining part. So what we looked at is two areas. One is the mining part, and we mapped all the companies which are here along with the mining equipment which is there. So all these on this side, along with where they stand, drill rigs, loaders, and so on. So this is work in progress, and it would go on. And then which areas are they under? The underground mining, surface mining, and so on. And so, for example, Volvo would be at loaders and trucks and so on. So basically trying to understand the play of all the players in this market. Then I looked at the construction equipment area and then mapped all the players here. Again, this is work in progress. Then we see a common pattern among all these players, and most of the mining equipment are first, of course, the mining equipment, and then is the aftermarket revenues. And aftermarket revenues are a crucial element of all companies. So this is of Epiroc, and Sandvik breakup is also similar. This is taken from the annual report of Sandvik. So it's around 75% aftermarket and 25% equipment. Now let's look at the whole ecosystem play here. So you have the mining company's revenue, which is around 692 billion US dollars. And the revenue is cyclical. And it is fed by growth factors like GDP growth, technological requirement for metals, and then degrowth factors, recycling industry, environmental impact, and so on. Then you have these regulations. And one report by PwC after this COVID pointed to a 20% capex reduction. So this is the mining equipment, energy inputs, and the people and automation, out of which most of these companies depend on the mining equipment area for their revenues. So clearly, this is going to have, the capex reduction is going to have an impact on all the mining equipment companies further down the line, perhaps 6 months to 8 months or a year down the line. Now, people and automation, again, in automation, it's about reducing people. So there's not much play in this area, but on the energy inputs, that's one area neglected by all, and it is a standalone equipment, complements green operations, and environmental impact is high. So basically this area is something to look closely at, and this complements the Sandvik mining equipment business. So Let's again look at the drivers for mining equipment. And here we have put them in a tabular form. And again, the operations efficiency, the equipment efficiency, the environmental impact part, and the safety part. And then one area which was left out is the energy sourcing for environmental impact. Now, all companies have a focus on decarbonization of mines, automation, efficiency, safety of mining operations. If you look at their offerings, you could say perhaps it's a bit different by a few points here and there. It's not a big difference. So let's look at the focus. So the red triangle marks all mining companies have this area as focus, and the green marks this area is not yet explored by competitors. And all these areas have a focus from the competitors, and this area does not have a focus. And the differential change in this area is large. Mines have surface area to spare. Many are solar rich areas for fuel cells. Prices dropping in this field. No company seems to have come up with a story here and counters the image of mine operators. This is also an important point to counter the environmental impact. So we are carbon free or something around those lines would have a big impact in the way people perceive an equipment supplier company. So what is the possibility to build an ecosystem in any of the above areas which can have a direct impact on Sandvik? Now the red marked areas, it would be perhaps a bit more difficult to build an ecosystem there and a value model play there, because your competitive company could also react in a similar manner. So it doesn't give you a differential advantage. Whereas in an area where no one has focused, the differential advantage could be high and establish a name for Sandvik. So is there a possibility to look at this area? So tying it together, the Sandvik internal team will have good inputs on the mining area, coupled with my work, which is broad and deep in different areas and can be a good combination. And I just want to give you an input on what work I have done in other areas. So this work I have done in other areas with and without VBE models. So let's just look into it very briefly. So the work first I have done in the telecom, and the telecom revenue is forecast to grow by 1 to 2% per annum on a $1 trillion base. While in many cases of telecom operators, their revenues are really going down. If you look at TeliaSonera annual revenues from 2009 to 2016, there is a 30% drop in revenues in this time period. Now, why? Because their focus is on an earlier value model of communication channel, and it's a one-to-one billing with a customer. But they are sitting on 4 assets, which is the identity of customer, location, communication channel, and data access. And can we define a VBE model in this kind of scenario? And we defined a VBE model where we have put one-to-many billings, and we have defined a business process where customers can really jump into this whole value model, and they can start using services from telecom operators. So they have to be packaged in such a way that they can start using it, and for which we built processes around these identities. Now you'll see this coming in the next 10 years around identity. And we formed a platform called IPCT. So this is again a VB model. The revenue impact would be plus 30% from the existing revenue. And IPCT platform and the concept of virtual ownership, where 4 telcos cover 95% of the country's population. And we believe our work here will increase the revenue by 30% on a 1 trillion euro base, all new revenues. Of course, how the adoption is to go on is another tricky matter, but I believe it will go on because people would see value in that. And if you structure your VBE model in a way that people can latch on to the value, it can fly. Like you have the iTunes model, which was a mean between a free pirated music systems and a expensive CD kind of music system. So here my reference would be Kenneth Kalberg, who was the CEO of TeliaSonera Mobility. Then work done without VV models in discrete manufacturing. More customers lose connect with end customers. Can we design a process which gives manufacturer customers to connect and solve after sales processes and increase the whole connectivity with a customer? And you have all these companies and a million more manufacturers who sell these through a big retailer and then a small retailer, and then it goes to the end consumer. And here there is disintermediation. So here if they sell 100 of their products, only 2% registers. So we thought about how could we increase this registration based on focus of a customer. So what we did was we changed the focus from a manufacturer to the end consumer and design processes which takes only 10 seconds and centered around the end user. So basically the user is not split into a Karcher user, a Bosch user, a Citroen user, Electrolux. A user has all these products. And that's the difference between these two arrows, green arrows, which you see here, the centering from the manufacturer to the end consumer. And it is in his benefit to register the identity. So there's a concept called loss aversion, and it's a psychological kind of process. So you don't want to lose what you already own. And we have used that kind of thinking in our business process here. And it would give manufacturer 80% connectivity with the end customers, which means 80% of the 100% products they sell, they would know where they are, the products are, and solves issues like customer processes of product recall, recycling, ROHS, WEEE, GDPR, and so on. So yeah, the other case is something which we are doing on the insurance area, and same issues for customers across the globe, motorboat engines getting stolen, cars, dogs, and quite all these equipments which are insured. And you have a number of tracking devices which are point solution companies and hundreds of technology companies. And technology which focuses, and a technology focus which results in business process scaling issues. So basically, because of this, your business can't scale up, or the whole usage cannot be scaled up. So it's a similar situation to creative MP3 players without a business model, and iTunes having a business model and MP3 players. So how do you design such a system? And then you have the telecom operators struggling for revenues. So can you try all these disparate segments together for a solution? And we have done it, yeah. So these are the different experiences I have in other areas which could be useful here. Anyway, thank you.